my name is Jessie Peterson, and welcome back to the Popstrology podcast. Today, I have decided to do an episode that's all about the Gaylor Swift of it all. That's right, the Taylor Swift is a lesbian or bisexual, in general, queer of it all. I am talking about the reality, really, but allegedly the theory that Taylor Swift is queer. I don't really know. Like, I could just say here, Taylor Swift is gay and then end it. Like, that sort of speaks for itself, but I will be laying out the evidence and the clues in today's podcast episode. So if that is something that you're interested in, I'm so excited to have you here today. If it's something that really boils your blood, I know there are people out there who are definitely not homophobic at all, but still recoil at the mere mention of a woman being a lesbian. So if it's not for you, it's not for you. And that's my disclaimer before we get started today. This has been a little bit of a stressful week for me. On Wednesday, I had EMDR therapy like I always do. And we did some parts work and we confronted the part of myself that is really angry and resentful. The part of me that, has always been expected to be a good girl. I'm autistic, and the neurodivergent experience growing up, I feel like this is very common for neurodivergent women, is that we are placed in gifted and talented very early on in school because we, demonstrate exceptional aptitude. But like, autism is a disability, like ADHD is a disability. We should have had disability accommodations, but instead, all of a sudden, we're placed on a pedestal. We're super smart. We're supposed to do everything right. We can never do everything wrong. And I think it's a very common neurodivergent experience to feel like other people get away with like doing bad things or like not following the rules to a T. But the second that we fall short of expectations, people are really disappointed in us. And it's like, great. I'm smart, like naturally I have a smart brain, and I'm autistic, but I don't get to make mistakes now. Like now I have to wear a mask my whole entire life and pretend that I'm this smart, good girl who can follow the rules and do everything right. And I'm always held to the highest expectations. And it's just a little bit fucked up. So we are confronting that part of myself that is angry that I never got the validation that I needed from my parents. I didn't get it from my dad, which was, the reason I'm in therapy. But I also didn't get it. Like, I ran for school treasurer in 5th grade and I lost the election to a guy who was less good at math than me. And so I got really angry. I was like, just because I'm a woman, like people think I'm not, well, at the time, just because I'm a girl, people assume that I'm not good at math, but I'm really fucking good at math. And so I harbor resentment from that, all of the times that I knew the answer to a question, but didn't want to raise my hand because I didn't want to seem like a know-it-all. Just all of those little resentments that add up and add up and add up. And over time, it just builds. So we tapped into that part of myself. This week, I named her Veronica, and she has been really wanting to talk, specifically in my dreams. So all of my dreams this week have been like me confronting people and situations from my past, but letting that part of myself actually say what it wants. There's been a lot of screaming. I bit someone in my dream, not in real life. Don't worry. Not that I wouldn't. And I like the guy that I was quote unquote in love with. I'm literally a lesbian all of college. Like, he was in my dream the other night and he walked into the room and I was just glaring him down. And then I really let him have a piece of my mind. So yeah, there's no peace for me in sleep these days, only through weed. And there was also some unidentified aircraft activity around my apartment on Wednesday night and Thursday during the day. There was on Wednesday night a helicopter circling my apartment for like over an hour, and like circling my apartment building specifically, I guess. And after a while, you start to think it's there for you. And so I'm like on my couch. I'm autistic. I'm very sensitive to noise, like curled up in a ball with my noise canceling headphones on, like listening to Taylor Swift music. And I'm like, they're coming for me. Did Donald Trump make it a federal crime to be a bad bitch? Did Donald Trump say no more divas allowed? We're taking it out on all the divas. Did Donald Trump make it illegal to have a fat ass? And they're just coming for me. And then I survived the night. And then the next day, I'm just sitting and working, and all of a sudden there's two fighter jets circling my apartment again for more than an hour. And same thing, noise canceling headphones on, playing my little phone game, listening to Taylor Swift. I'm like, they are coming for me. There's literally no other explanation. I live in like Pasadena. Like, I literally moved out of Hollywood to get away from all of the helicopter noises, and they followed me here. Help. I don't know what to do. And anyway, so this led me to re-download the Citizen app so I could see if anyone, had been like, helicopter activity. Here's why. Like, someone's on the run. They're trying to find a bank robber, but it's just like, no one's saying anything. There's just unidentified aircraft activity. But I did see that Citizen added a feature to the app where you can see all of the sex offenders that live near you. Oh boy. There are 15 registered sex offenders who live within 1 mile of me. And you guessed it, they're all men. And it tells you what they're in for. It doesn't tell you their names. You have to upgrade to the premium version. I'm assuming that there's like a public way to do that without having to pay. I don't really fucking care. But it tells you what they're in for. It'll be like so-and-so, and then it's like molestation of a child under 14 years old. And you just expect me to like live here? Like, you don't rape by violent force. That's my neighbor. I pass him when I take my walks and I don't even know. Anyway, I haven't been leaving the house. Yeah. I need to move to another planet. That's what's been going on with me, but don't worry. I am continuing to keep up my ass work. And also, we got a lot of new music this week. We got a deluxe edition of Ariana Grande's album Eternal Sunshine, and we got a new Kesha song. So there has been bad, there has been good, and life goes on. And today I get to talk about literally my favorite topic in the whole entire world, which is Taylor Swift being gay. Let's get started. This episode could be 4 to 5 hours long. I'm going to try to make it not be that. And in order to do this, I'm actually not really going to look at like the speculated events besides the Lover era, or, the multiple interviews where other people out Taylor, basically. For example, the interview Jack Antonoff does where he says, I like to work with gay women. That's why I like to work with Taylor Swift. Or the stage appearance where Tegan from Tegan and Sarah talks about how she, has hooked up with closeted women and then says, anyway, all I'm saying is that Taylor Swift shouldn't marry that football guy. Those are completely irrelevant to what I'm talking about today, because today I'm just going to take a look at Taylor Swift's body of work, all of her music, all of her lyrics, and illustrate that without all the PR of it all, without Taylor's PR person, publicist Tree Payne, feeding us narratives, sending stories to People and E, and telling us about this boyfriend and this beach trip and that vacation, without all of that narrative, her songs are the songs of a queer woman. Like, her songs, her music is gay. Her lyrics are gay, very overtly. But before that, I just want to talk a little bit about how I became a Gaylor. I absolutely love these theories and diving into it and the community. It's so much fun. I was in a 3-year relationship with a man, and we broke up in August of 2024. After we broke up, I moved out and I started doing therapy for narcissistic abuse, which led to a much bigger exploration of myself and my trauma beyond the ways that my ex abused me over the past few years, and looking at how my dad abused me from the day I was born, and created all of these people-pleasing habits in me. And so my therapist helped me understand that me being boy crazy since I was like 5 years old was not actually a function of me just being so straight and being so attracted to men, but actually me seeking the male validation that I didn't get from my dad in external sources. So after we had this conversation, I did a lot of soul searching and looking back on the crushes that I've had and the men that I've dated. And I did a lot of like divination and tarot. And I finally, on November 19th, 2024, I remember because it's the day that Pluto moved into Aquarius, which is my 12th house, I realized / decided that I was a lesbian. And I say / decided because like you're born gay. You can't do conversion therapy and get yourself out of it. It's an inherent part of who you are. I am gay. But also, there can be doubts, especially with women. I formerly identified as bisexual. And so, with women moving from bisexuality to lesbianism, there is a hesitancy often in the back of your mind that's like, first of all, it comes from other people, specifically my mom, but also just what if I meet a guy and I, really like him? What do I do then? Do I reclassify myself as bisexual or pansexual or something, or what? And so I have made the choice to be a lesbian, in that if I do find a man at some point who I'm attracted to for whatever reason, I am choosing not to explore that path. I'm choosing not to explore any foray back into like bisexuality. I don't like men and I don't want to date them, period. So this was a huge life change for me. And I'm sure anyone who is a lesbian but formerly thought that they were not has experienced this. And I'm sure gay men who didn't realize they were gay have also felt this way. But there's just such like an all-encompassing parasitic nature of compulsory heterosexuality that completely alters how you view things. Because now I'm a lesbian, but I've only ever dated men. And so do I even know what love is? Like I've been in love with multiple of my ex-boyfriends. Was that love? Or was it my love for validation, or was it my need for validation, or was it my codependency and needing to identify myself through someone else? And this is why I always get red flags when I hear someone say like, I have the perfect life, I have a great job, I have everything I've ever wanted, all I need is that guy to complete it. Because I used to say that, and it just really gives me like, no, you don't. Like, you don't actually know yourself well enough to know that just one person is all you need. Like, all you need should be within yourself. And then if you meet someone, they're a wonderful addition to your life. I don't know. It just gives content to me. So something that happens when I'm going back through all of my relationships is I realize how much I've relied on Taylor Swift's music to inform what I think that men are able to be. The way that she writes about her muses and her love interest in her songs is so beautiful and so flowery, and it sounds amazing. And I realized, like, I've been a Swiftie since she first started releasing music in 2005. In 2005, I was 12. So now I'm like, ever since I was 12 years old, I have been listening to these songs and thinking that they're about men and being like, there must be men out there who can make me feel those things, and projecting those qualities onto men, because I didn't find men who made me feel those things, but I was like, well, I can at least pretend. And now I'm like, oh, were all those songs about women? And my friend Delia, who was on the first episode of this podcast, we had talked a lot about how Gaylor was one of her special interests for a long time. And I knew that she was very involved with like Gaylorism on Reddit and Tumblr, etc. And so one weekend I asked her to like fill me in, and between conversations with her and watching TikToks and reading Reddit, and then finally to cap it off, watching Long Pond studio sessions for Folklore twice, I was like, by the end of the day, honestly, within like 2 hours, I was like, oh, this bitch is gay. Good for her. It really is one of those things where like, if you're looking for it, you'll find it. And so personally, I believe that not only is Taylor Swift gay, but I believe that she has been out since April 26, 2019 for all who care to see. The upside is that Taylor has gotten so loud in her music because like she's realized no one's going to think that she's gay. Like at every single turn, there are people who are like, oh, maybe that's gay. And then like a million voices being like, that is absolutely not true. That's offensive. And sorry, the only way you think it's offensive to call someone a lesbian is if you're homophobic. There's just like this sense, the compulsory heterosexuality of our society. Straight is default. People are straight until they say otherwise, straight until proven otherwise. And it's just not true. Like straight isn't normal, gay isn't weird, like straight isn't default, gay isn't other. It's you can be straight or you can be gay, but you shouldn't assume either one. Like, that's for people to figure out. And if I was given the option to not have to be straight, maybe I could have, saved myself a lot of heartache and not done so much self-harm by having sex with men, which I always hated. Oof. No matter how loud Taylor gets, like, people just still don't listen to the actual lyrics of her songs. They paternity test them. She puts out an album like the Tortured Poets Department, and people are just like, oh my gosh, this song is about Maddie Healy. This song is about Joe Alwyn. This song is about Maddie Healy. And they don't even listen to the actual lyrics of the song. Like, the album Evermore is an album that's almost completely about her failed coming out attempt in 2019, which we'll talk about shortly. But people just are like, oh, these songs are about Joe Alwyn. These songs are about Maddie Healy. And it's like, did you read the lyrics? That literally makes no sense. Like, hardly any of them are love songs at all. Like, what? And it's very upsetting because so many of the songs that Taylor writes are about herself, or about her relationship to her fans. And people are like, they're about a man. And that's all it is. And I just can't imagine how frustrating it must be to be her and be such like a beautiful artist who makes such beautiful art, and then have people be like, it's about this man, blah. I'm never listening to the lyrics. I am not doing any critical analysis. You cannot make me think. And whatever. Yeah, we can't make you think. But I'll tell you what they're about, if you let me. It becomes most abundantly clear, I would say, that Taylor Swift is gay during the Lover era. And this is specifically because, actually, she was supposed to come out during this era, and then that got foiled. This album, it's rainbow themed. The cover of Lover is rainbows. It's the colors of the bisexual flag. And she kicks off the Lover era on April 13th, 2019, on which she begins a 13-day countdown on her Instagram. For 13 days, she posts a picture on Instagram that's some candy-colored rainbow imagery, and she captions it 426. And then this culminates on April 26, 2019, when she announces the song Me, featuring Brendan Urie of Panic at the Disco. And she posts a picture on Instagram that says, Me, out now. That's a coming out post. That she's saying me out now after posting all of these rainbows. And April 26th is Lesbian Visibility Day. Like, what more? What more do you need? What are we even talking about? And so she releases a song called Me. Me is both, one, a collab with Brendan Urie, who is openly pansexual, and two, it says it's just a gay song, and it's called Me. It's about her. Me is about Taylor Swift. It is her most personal song. She says, I promise that you'll never find another like me. And then she also says, but one of these things is not like the others, like a rainbow with all of the colors. Baby doll, when it comes to a lover, I promise that you'll never find another like me. What else is like a rainbow with all of the colors supposed to represent, if not being gay? The pride flag is a rainbow. Like, that's what rainbows are associated with. Taylor dressed herself in rainbows for this whole era, and the press consistently said, Taylor Swift shows up in tie-dye trend. And it's like, they just like go so far to avoid saying rainbow, to avoid saying gay, but she's saying rainbow. She's saying it right now. And then there's a scene in the Miss Americana documentary about the making of Me, where you can see her with Brendan and with Aaron working on the song, and Taylor Swift says,
and like when it's like me, it's like dancers, cats, gay pride, people in country western boots. I start riding a unicorn, like just everything that makes me me.
5, 6.
How does gay pride make her her if she herself is not gay? It doesn't make any sense. And then the music video is filled with the rainbows. It has Emerald City, which is a canonically queer reference, not only because Elton John had his Yellow Brick Road to his coming out, but also because Friends of Dorothy is an old term for people who are gay, Dorothy being Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. This like rainbow parade, Emerald City music video that literally has Karlie Kloss disguised as a man falling from the sky. This is a coming out music video, and the reception is horrible. Like, actually, If I were her, I would have been way, way worse than she was after this, because she releases a song called Me. She says, there's never going to be another who loves you like me. And people say that the song is cheesy. They say that it's corny. They say that it's bad. They bully her. Like, she's literally bullied into removing the phrase, hey kids, spelling is fun from the song. And yeah, I would fucking start writing songs about killing myself as well. On June 2nd, Taylor then performs at iHeartRadio Wango Tango for the opening of Pride Month. She performs the song Me with Brendan Urie. And once again, news outlets report, as she is wearing a full body rainbow outfit with lots of fringe, news outlets report that she's leaning into the tie-dye trend. We then move on to the song You Need to Calm Down, which is the 14th track on her album Lover. Taylor announces this track on June 14th. So 14th track, 14th day of Pride Month. And she teased it with an Instagram post on June 13th. She then continues to post rainbows on her Instagram for the rest of Pride Month. The song You Need to Come Down is a song that's about online bullies and trolls, specifically those who target queer people and women. It has lines like, why are you mad when you could be glad? GLAAD spelled out in the lyrics, capital GLAAD. And GLAAD is the world's largest LGBTQ media advocacy organization. She says, sunshine on the street at the parade, but you would rather be in the dark age. So saying like sunshine to her, once again, colors, sunshine is about queerness, and then gray and dark is about straightness. And she uses these themes a lot throughout her music, as we will see in this episode. And then she says, shade never made anybody less gay. Pretty self-explanatory. The music video for the song is where it gets like pretty undeniable that Taylor Swift herself is not just writing an anthem for the LGBTQ community, but is queer herself. The music video opens with Taylor Swift. She's in a trailer and she's making a cocktail in a blender, and a spark from her phone burns the trailer down. Openly lesbian country singer Shelley Wright, who Taylor has worked with in the past and continues to be friends with, did an interview in 2014 where she talked about the blender of Hollywood that makes people hide their sexualities. And she talks about how many singers and country artists and actors and NFL players and professional sports players have to pretend to be straight to keep their careers. And she talks about just how many people she knows who are closeted and how it led to her almost like being suicidal. And that's why she had to finally come out, and how they need some big names to come out together to break the blender. And here Taylor Swift is, breaking a blender, and it leads to her trailer burning down, which is the theme that she uses time and time again of fire burning her house down, fire being coming out, and her house being her career. The music video features a ton of openly queer people, including, but not limited to, Haley Kiyoko, Todrick Hall, Laverne Cox, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, Anthony Jonathan Karamo Tan, and Bobby from Queer Eye, Adam Rippon, Adam Lambert, Billy Porter, RuPaul, and many other queer people, and the allegedly closeted lesbian or bisexual woman Katy Perry coming out to squash some beef. And then Taylor also appears with her hair as the colors of the bi flag, which could mean nothing. She has also made herself, if you can see the star on her outfit, she has made herself the sheriff of the gay town. So this begs the question: do you think that all of these openly queer people would be in a music video with a straight white woman who makes herself the sheriff of the gay town? Or do you think Taylor Swift is gay? The first one makes her seem like a terrible person, and I don't know why all of these openly queer people would agree to this. The second option makes a lot of sense. You choose. So that all happens on June 14th. Taylor continues the rest of the month with posting a bunch of rainbow photos on her Instagram account. On June 30th, 2019, Taylor is supposed to come out at New York Pride. Christian Siriano has made her a gown. He has been teasing it on his Instagram. Someone posted fan art of Taylor wearing the gown, and he liked it or commented on it or reposted. I honestly forget. But he's making a gown, and it's for Taylor Swift. The morning of June 30th, the news comes out that Taylor's masters have been sold. And whether Taylor knew about this before or she found out the morning of is debated, but this news makes her scrap everything. her label is a big part of the reason that she had to stay closeted. Scott Borchetta, homophobic. Scooter Braun, homophobic. Her dad, homophobic. And so any boost in her sales because of her coming out, she will no longer get the profits to because she no longer owns the masters. So she has to deal with this, and the coming out plan gets put off. And so Billy Porter ends up wearing the dress that was made for Taylor. And you can see on the left of this picture, the sheer panel on the side obviously is made for a white person. And so this dress was for Taylor. Billy just ended up wearing it, which is very unfortunate and upsetting, and is reflected in all of her music to date. Like since then, she's been talking about wanting to kill herself because something went wrong. This leads to them having to completely change the direction of the album Lover, because there's songs on it that weren't supposed to be heard until she came out. And so we can see in this interview that Cautious Clay did with Rolling Stone, where he says that Taylor's team called him in June to ask if they could sample his song Cold War on Lover in a last-minute addition to the album, which was released in August, called London Boy. So they take away the songs that are too openly queer to be on Lover when she hasn't come out, and they replace them with a song that is undeniably about her boyfriend. This also changes the direction of the upcoming Miss Americana documentary, which is heavily theorized to have originally been about Taylor's coming out, and now becomes about Taylor coming out as a Democrat, which is a little different. People ever since have been like calling on Taylor every single time there's something political to say something about it or do activism about it. And they're like, you made a whole documentary about this. And she's like, I didn't want to. Like, I wasn't supposed to come out as an activist. I was supposed to come out as a gay woman. Like, she never wanted to be an activist for the Democratic Party. And this is supported by Lana Wilson, the director of the documentary, stating that the thesis for the documentary changed in the middle of the project. But even with all of this change, the songs on Lover are still just generally gay. Let's take as an example, It's Nice to Have a Friend. It's Nice to Have a Friend states, school bell rings, walk me home, sidewalk chalk covered in snow, lost my gloves, you give me one, want to hang out? Yeah, sounds like fun. Video games, you pass me a note, sleeping in tents, it's nice to have a friend. And then in the next couple of paragraphs, these friends fall in love and then they get married at the end. When you were a child, did your parents let you sleep in tents with people of the opposite gender? Mine didn't. And Taylor Swift's homophobic conservative dad almost certainly didn't. So when you have this picture of like two kids who grew up together and were best friends and had play dates after school and slept in tents together, those are probably two women. Gay. False god. We have references to religious guilt and trauma, yet and again, another huge theme in Taylor's work. She says, we were crazy to think that this could work. Remember when I said I'd die for you? If Lover is supposedly about Joe Alwyn, what is crazy to think that could work? A brand new actor. They started dating right after he graduated from acting school. He hasn't really been in anything. Why is it crazy to think that it could work? Just a question. Then she says, but we might just get away with it. Religion's in your lips, even if it's a false god. We might just get away with it. The altar is my hips, even if it's a false god. Gay. In the song, she also says, I'm New York City. And then she says, daring you to leave me just so I can try and scare you. You're the West Village. Joe is a London boy. Joe didn't live in the West Village, but you know who did live in the West Village? Karlie Kloss. And then in Cruel Summer, to further support this theory, Taylor says, snuck in through the garden gate every night that summer just to seal my fate. The only garden gate Taylor has been paparazzi'd sneaking into and out of is the garden gate to Karlie Kloss's apartment in the West Village. Karlie also became Taylor's roommate at one point, despite having her own apartment in the West Village, and Taylor lived in New York as well, which is something that normal gal pals do. It's a normal gal pal activity. Trust me on this. As a lesbian, I know what I'm talking about. So now that we're into the Karlie Kloss of it all, we can talk about the album Reputation, a beautiful love album about Karlie Kloss. This album is so gay. It is like the gayest. And I can't believe that people think it's about a man, but let's break it down. We start with Ready for It, a song where Taylor literally tells us what she's about to start doing, that she's splitting herself in half, and everyone completely ignores it, including myself for many years. So literally nothing personal. It's just now I'm kicking myself. I'm like, this is so obvious. I was paternity testing the songs too back then. I was like, this is about Joe. I'm not going to read the lyrics. I'm not paying any attention. But it's not. It's about separating yourself in half. And she does a famous Taylor Swift move here where she uses multiple pronouns in the same song to refer to multiple different people, but like throw people for a loop. We have he, him in the song representing her new beard, Joe Alwyn. And in the chorus, we have you, allegedly referring to Karlie Kloss. And or the other version of Taylor herself in the music video for this song, we see two different Taylors. The dual Taylor theory is a big part of, Gaylor lore, and it comes out a lot in the Tortured Poets department. And it's the idea that one Taylor, the Taylor that we see, is Taylor Swift TM, the brand, the finance guy, and Taylor Swift, the real Taylor, is Taylor Swift, the queer woman, the poet, the poet that's trapped inside the body of that finance guy, which is a reference to her song I Hate It Here from the Tortured Poets department. So in Ready for It, Taylor says, knew he was a killer first time that I saw him, stealing hearts and running off and never saying sorry. But if he's a ghost, so if he's not real, then I can be a phantom. I can be not real either, holding him for ransom. This is really romantic, by the way. If he is a ghost and I'm a ghost and I'm just holding him for ransom, he's not hers. She's just holding him so that no one else can have him. But they're not actually together. They're both ghosts. They're not real people in a relationship. If this is supposed to be about Joe and he is supposed to be her boyfriend, this is an incredibly unromantic song. And then we have the pre-chorus and the chorus where Taylor goes, no one has to know. This is obviously not about Joe because everyone knew about them, and Taylor's PR team certainly made sure of it. The chorus then goes, in the middle of the night, in my dreams, you should see the things we do, baby. In the middle of the night, in my dreams, I know I'm going to be with you, so I take my time. Are you ready for it? So we're no longer with he, who is Joe, and we are now with you. Who's you? Someone else. A secret romance that she's not telling anyone about. Karlie Kloss. The second verse goes, he can be my jailer. Romantic. He can be my jailer, Burton to this Taylor, a reference to Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor, highly speculated to have been a closeted lesbian, the muse for Taylor Jenkins Reid's book, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. But I digress. He can be my jailer, Burton to this Taylor. Every love I've known in comparison is a failure. I forget their names now. I'm so very tame now. I'll never be the same now. This is sarcasm. A big part of the problem is that people don't read this as sarcasm, but it's sarcasm. She's saying, oh, I've got this guy. He's my jailer. He's literally keeping me in jail. He is my beard. He's the Burton to my Taylor. And I've never met a guy like him. I've never had a boyfriend like this. I'm hanging up my hat. I'm no longer the media darling who has a spectacle of having a new boyfriend once a year. I'm with him for good. They were together for 6.5 years. And she's literally saying, like, I am choosing, in order to protect my relationship with whoever you is, who's being referenced in the chorus, I will stay with him and I will pretend that I'm a perfect girlfriend and I have settled down and I'm never going to date again. Seems pretty obvious. The song ends with her saying, baby, let the games begin, let the games begin, let the games begin, over and over and over again. What games? The game of bearding, the game of we're loving in secret and publicly I have a relationship with Joe Alwyn to cover for it. And what else do you think it means? Like, what other games is she supposed to be playing with this, like, boyfriend who she's so in love with? Like, I'm asking if there are any Hetlers out there who want to tell me, because I really just don't understand. And that's the thing about, like, becoming a Gaylor after being a Swiftie who thought that she was in real relationships for so long. It's like, a lot of her lyrics, I would be like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. This makes sense to be about Joe Alwyn. I don't really know if that part makes any sense to me. I don't really think that that fits their relationship, but she's saying it, so it must be true, nodding along. And once you see it from a queer perspective, you're like, oh, that's what that means. Oh, okay, everything makes sense now. And that's how Ready for It is, because I just don't really understand how you could possibly see this song and explain it and have it make coherent sense without it being gay. We then move on to Endgame, where she says, big reputation, ooh, you and me would be a big conversation. You, me and who? Because you and Joe Alwyn, I don't know, no one knows who that guy is. You know, you plucked him, your PR team plucked him from obscurity straight out of acting school in London. He doesn't have a big reputation. You're not like a big conversation. They're like, Taylor Swift has a boyfriend. Oh, we've heard that one before. And no one knows who he is. Okay, cool. You know what would be a big conversation? If Taylor Swift, the world's biggest pop star, was in a romantic relationship with Karlie Kloss, the world's most famous Victoria's Secret angel, one of them. Yeah, I think that would be a big conversation. I think people would be talking about that a lot. Don't Blame Me is another religious guilt song. I've been breaking hearts a long time and toying with those older guys, just playthings for me to use. Something happened for the first time in the darkest paradise. Shaken, pacin', I just need you. So Taylor Swift says that she has been toying with her exes, with those older guys. But she's also dated younger guys. She has dated Harry Styles. She has dated Connor Kennedy. Both of those people are younger than her. Joe is not the first guy who's younger than her that she's dated. So what's different? What's new? What's this new thing that's happening? She's dated British guys before. She's dated white guys before. She's dated blonde guys before. Like, I can't really think of anything that sets Joe apart from the others. Unless this is about a woman. Unless this isn't about Joe. Yeah. I don't know. Could be. She then goes on to say, for you, I would cross the line. What line? My name is whatever you decide. Here we get to a lovely part of Gaylor lore. So in 2013, Taylor Swift and Karlie Kloss go on a road trip, just them girls and T-Pain, to Big Sur. They stay in a cabin that has one bed. They do totally normal girls trip things, like take extremely romantic pictures together and probably have sex. No one can confirm that, but Karlie does become the first person to listen to the album 1989, and she posts an Instagram picture with a lyric from You Are in Love on the drive home. And who knows what that could be about, but there's a picture where Karlie has written like Karlie loves Taylor and Taylor's name is spelled wrong. So in Don't Blame Me, Taylor says, my name is whatever you decide. Is it Taylor? And then she says, echoes of your name inside my mind, halo hiding my obsession. Karlie is a Victoria's Secret angel. They have halos. I once was poison ivy, but now I'm your daisy. And now we get into daisy theory. So during this road trip, there's a photo of a daisy. The daisy is behind someone's ear. The daisy is on the dashboard. It's like a very specific image of a daisy. And we have a picture of Taylor writing out the lyrics to this song. And if you were asked to draw a daisy, like it would probably be like a circle with petals around it, right? No. Taylor draws this exact daisy from her Big Sur trip with Karlie, that Karlie is wearing behind her ear in a bunch of photos in the lyrics to Don't Blame Me. Like, what more are you asking for? That is like cold hard proof, in my opinion. Finally, she says, for you, I would fall from grace just to touch your face. Once again, like, what is this like fall from grace? What is this like God isn't going to love me anymore? What is this like religious guilt and trauma if she's dating a white man, another white man? She's already dated 11 of them, 10 of them. Like, who is she dating that openly touching their face would cause her to fall from grace? Karlie Kloss. Like, there's no hetero explanation for this. I can't even begin to tell you what people think. The song Delicate is used in a bunch of Pride events throughout the years, even to this day. It is extremely queer-coded. The song So It Goes, God, that song is gay. She says, gold cage hostage to my feelings. Taylor uses this cage imagery a lot to reference feeling trapped by her identity as Taylor Swift, the brand, as a straight woman. And she uses this golden cage imagery in the music video for Look What You Made Me Do. This song also has the lyric, wear you like a necklace. There is no straight explanation for that. Like, that is explicitly referencing lesbian sex. And then she says, you know I'm not a bad girl, but I do bad things with you. And this is such a queer theme in general, but also just a big part of Taylor's life. Taylor is likely also neurodivergent. And so similar to what I was talking about at the beginning, like, she's been fed this narrative. She says in Miss Americana, like, I've always wanted to be a good girl. All I want to be is a good girl. She's a people pleaser. And our society makes it seem like, being gay is bad. And so Taylor is saying, I'm not a bad girl. I'm a good girl. I've literally been a good girl all my life. But apparently having intimacy, being with the woman that I love is bad. So I do bad things with you. This is a central theme in her music. You will find this in a lot of her other songs. The song Gorgeous. You're so gorgeous, I can't say anything to your face because look at your face. I'm so furious at you for making me feel that way, but what can I say? You're gorgeous is not about a man. Period. Moving on. The song Dancing with Our Hands Tied. Gay. She says, I loved you in secret. First sight, yeah, we love without reason. Taylor never loved Joe in secret. Like, from the day they met at the Met Gala, it has been Joe and Taylor, it has been Toe. Toe has been together, and they have been paparazzi'd everywhere. They're all over the place. In the pictures, in the newspapers, online, in people. And so, like, what are you talking about? I loved you in secret, first sight. Yeah, we love without reason. I don't know who that's about, but it's not about Joe Alwyn. But yeah, this core theme of Taylor's work since literally her first album is secret love, is not about the guys that she dates and is paparazzi'd with literally constantly. I could have spent forever with your hands in my pockets, picture of your face in an invisible locket. Just continuing this theme of a secret love that nobody knows about. And we were dancing with our hands tied. You're dancing with your lover, but your hands are tied. There's something holding you back. You can't really be together. What's that? Because she's definitely together with Joe for 6.5 years. I loved you in spite of deep fears that the world would divide us. I'd kiss you as the lights went out, swaying as the room burned down. So once again, we have this theme of fire. As the room burns down, as she comes out and fire is destroying her life, she's still kissing her lover because it was all worth it. And then we have Dress. Oh, we have Dress. Oh, Dress. Oh, that's a gay song. That is a gay song. And it's one of those gay songs that the straightest people in the world listen to the song and are like, oh, that's a little bit fruity. Because it is. Because it's overtly queer. There's just no explanation for this song. Like, there actually isn't. I really don't know what to tell you. Our secret moments in a crowded room. They've got no idea about me and you. Once again, people know about Taylor and Joe. There is an indentation in the shape of you. If this is about a man, what indentation? What shape of you? A rectangle? Like, Taylor, during the Reputation tour, uses her fingers to draw an hourglass shape when she says this line. I'm sorry. You made a mark on me, golden tattoo. Taylor and Carly got matching gold temporary tattoos at a party in 2016, which I think was Drake's birthday party, which has aged poorly, I suppose. All of this silence and patience, pining in anticipation, my hands are shaking from holding back from you. Gay. And then she says, I don't want you like a best friend. But it was love at first sight. As she says in Dancing with Our Hands Tied, first sight, yeah, we love with no reason. So if she was in love with a man at first sight and that man was Joe Alwyn and they started dating like immediately after they met, why would anyone think that she loves him like a best friend? Like, why would that even come up, Unless it's about Carly Kloss. And then we have Flashback When You Met Me, your buzz cut and my hair bleach that Taylor includes a lot of red herrings in her songs. to make people think that they're plausibly about a man because, you know, she's not out to the general public. At the Met Gala in 2016, where Taylor and Joe allegedly met and started dating, Taylor had her hair bleached. This was the Bleachella era, and Joe Alwyn had a buzz cut. However, the same night, Karlie Kloss spills red wine on her dress and has to quickly go to the side and speedily cut her dress to remove the part that has the wine stain. Some might call that a buzz cut. I don't know. A little red herring, a little Taylor Swift magic for you. Then we have Call It What You Want, where Taylor Swift, the queen of diction, Taylor, I never miss a beat, Swift, never enunciates Call It What You Want. When she, in the song, when she performed it on SNL, when she performs it in surprise songs, when she performed it on the Rep Tour, she goes, call it what you want, yeah, call it what you want to, which sounds a little bit like Carly, what you want. Call it what you want, yeah, call it what you want to. She says, I'm laughing with my lover, making forts under covers. Trust him like a brother. Yeah, you know, I did one thing right. So when they're at home making forts under covers, like they can only be together at home when they're protected by these blankets, the covers are a metaphor. And then we have New Year's Day, which when she performed at like a Time 100 event, she performed on the Eras Tour, on the Rep Tour, she often changes the lyrics to say, I want her midnights. Seems gay. There's so much to be said, but I want to clarify that when I became a Gaylor, I went back and listened to Taylor's entire discography, and she has always written about women. Like, this was not a switch. This was not, I thought I was straight. She probably, like, perhaps thought she was bisexual for a long time and now knows that she's a lesbian. Pure speculation. But she's always written about women, and you can see this because the songs on debut are incredibly queer-coded. Teardrops on My Guitar, Drew Looks at Me. The original lyrics for this song are available online, and it was originally written using gender-neutral pronouns. You look at me. Why would they change that to have a boy's name that rhymes with you? I don't know. Beats me. I've got no idea. And also a lyric in Teardrops on My Guitar. Drew walks by me. Can he tell that I can't breathe? And there he goes so perfectly, the kind of flawless I wish I could be. I'm sorry. We're all girls here, right? Would you ever say that about a man? Would you say that about a man in 2006 when you're like 17 years old? No. The kind of flawless I wish I could be? A high school boy? Get real. Mary's Song. Another song about two friends who are best friends from day one and they grow up and they get married. Very, it's nice to have a friend coded. And also, gay. In Tim McGraw, Taylor says, when you think happiness, I hope you think that little black dress. Think of my head on your chest and my old faded blue jeans. Taylor's wearing jeans. Who is wearing the dress? Riddle me this. The last song I want to talk about from debut is Cold As You, which is a track 5. It's her first track 5, and track 5s are her most emotional songs. And this is just an insane song for a teenager to write. Like, this song is so emotional and powerful and poetic and good. She has been so talented since day one, but all of the, accepted explanations of this song are that it's about a romantic relationship. But I think that it's about her dad. As I mentioned, her dad, Scott Swift, is notoriously homophobic and a big part of the reason why Taylor has felt that she has to be in the closet. So in Cold As You, she says, you put up walls and paint them all a shade of gray, and I stood there loving you and wished them all away. A big theme throughout Taylor's music is going to be the use of gray versus color to represent straightness and closeting and dating men versus the color, the rainbow of pride, of queerness. The rest of the world was black and white, but we were in screaming color. Her dad is putting up walls and boxing her in and making them gray and making sure that she thinks she's straight, and she stood there loving him and wished them all away. She doesn't want him to put up walls around her and make her be straight. She wants to be free. She wants him to love her for who she is. And she says, so I start a fight because I need to feel something. and you do what you want because I'm not what you wanted. Like, he wanted a daughter who was normal, who was good, who was straight, who dated men. And she's not that. She's a good girl, but she does bad things because she likes women. I simply can only begin to imagine how devastating her life this way must have been. Like, I feel like really terrible for her, which is a rough side effect of being a Gaylor. Feeling really, really protective of Taylor. And when people say mean things about her, being like, she's gay, let her live. Oh my God. So we can move on to Fearless and talk about the love story of it all. Her probably like most famous song, early song, Love Story, which she has performed at every tour she's done. Like Eras Tour, Rep Tour, 1989 tour. She's always performing Love Story. It's obviously a very important song to her, and I don't think it's just because it's a song that gained popularity. Everyone points to this as being like a quintessentially heterosexual love song because it's about Romeo and Juliet, but it's not about like the male and femaleness of Romeo and Juliet. Like, Romeo and Juliet is a tragedy. Romeo and Juliet is about two people who are in love who can't be together because their families are in this like generations long feud. Taylor lives in 2000s Nashville, Tennessee. She's not in a generations long feud with a rival family, which is preventing her from being with some like straight white man that she wants to be with. She can't be with her lover because society doesn't look fondly upon women dating other women, especially in the 2000s, especially in Tennessee. So she co-opts the story of Romeo and Juliet, but this is about a woman. In the song The Way I Loved You, she talks about how the men she's dating are so polite. Like, he's so sensible and so incredible, and all my single friends are jealous. He says exactly what I need to hear, and everyone thinks that it's perfect. But she says, but I miss screaming and fighting and kissing in the rain. It's 2 a.m. and I'm cursing your name, so in love that I acted insane, and that's the way I loved you. So once again, we have him versus you. And the you is probably a girl. She's saying, like, these men are fine, you know, like, they are polite and they do what they're supposed to do and whatever, but that's not what I want. Like, I don't want the textbook fairy tale story that everyone thinks that a man should be. Like, I want real, passionate love with someone that I'm not allowed to be with. And then the other most famous song from Fearless, You Belong With Me, isn't about the guy at all. You're on the phone with your girlfriend. She's upset. She's going off about something that you said. She doesn't get your humor like I do. She wears short skirts. I wear t-shirts. She's cheer captain. I'm on the bleachers. And we're just getting this, like, the song is about this guy's girlfriend. Like, it's really, he's just there. Like, he's just a plot point. He's just a character. The song is about the other woman. And this is also where we get the first time that we get dual Taylors, really, is in this music video where we have blonde Taylor and we have brunette Taylor. We have good Taylor, we have evil Taylor. And this snowballs out of control in the coming albums. That's a quick overview of Fearless, but there are a lot of songs on Fearless that are really gay. I recommend listening to it through a queer lens. The outro to The Other Side of the Door, woof. Moving on to Speak Now, with the title track Speak Now being a song that from a straight perspective is like a little bit corny and juvenile. It's sort of, it was a long time confusing point for me where I was like, is this really like title track material? But if you think about it as a woman who's saying to her, the woman that she's in love with, who's at the altar marrying a man, like, I'm not the kind of girl who makes interruptions like this, but you shouldn't be marrying him. And she's saying, I'll meet you when you're out of the church at the back door. So once you have left the confines of the church and all of the restraints that religion puts on us as queer people and as women, that's when we can run away. It's like so like avant-garde and cool and queer and fun from a queer perspective, and then from a straight perspective, I'm like, juvenile, I hate it. This is art. And then there's the song Mean, which has long thought to be about queer people, about people who hate on queer people and the queer community, sort of like a precursor to You Need to Calm Down. And it's also widely speculated that there was actually another coming out plan during the Speak Now era that also didn't happen. Long Live is very, very queer coded. The vault track, I Can See You, just another song about like hidden love. Like, I see you down this dark hallway and I'm pressing you up against a wall And it's a very gay song. Like the moment that you hear that song, you can be like, ah, this is gay. But no, people are like, actually, this is about Taylor Lautner. No, it's not. And then she releases the album Red, which features a song called Holy Ground. And Diana Agron literally translates to Holy Ground in Greek, but I think that's actually none of my business. The song Treacherous is gay as fuck. Like, she goes, put your lips close to mine as long as they don't touch. Out of focus, eye to eye, till the gravity's too much. Girl. Is that a straight song? I don't fucking think so. This slope is treacherous. This daydream is dangerous. This slope is treacherous, but I like it. That is not about Jake Gyllenhaal, you sick freak. And here's the other thing. The song All Too Well is theorized to be about Jake Gyllenhaal, who took her virginity and she left her scarf at his house, so the scarf is actually the virginity, blah, blah, blah. I've heard it all before. People are like, Taylor Swift wrote the song All Too Well about a man that she had only dated for 3 months. Haha, it is completely normal to have insane feelings for a man that you've only dated for 3 months. And let's normalize this in society. And then that leads to me being a delusional little freak and thinking that's actually true. And it's not. Anyway, I'm a little bit angry, not with Taylor Swift, but with society. And yeah. And at myself for being so fucking delusional for so many years. And then I obviously have to talk about the vault track, The Very First Night, which says over and over, because they don't know about the night in the hotel. They weren't riding in the car when we both fell. Didn't read the note on the Polaroid picture. They don't know how much I miss you. Taylor Swift, the woman that you are. One cannot say that poetry is a weak point for her. So the fact that this doesn't rhyme, but so overtly should rhyme with her instead of you, and she doesn't even say yeah, she says you. This song is supposed to say her. Like, this is as obviously about a woman as it can get without actually using she, her pronouns in the song.
She never loved me or her or anyone or anything again.
And yeah. 1989 is when we start to get really just like louder than she ever has been before. And specifically with the song Blank Space, where Taylor is openly satirizing the media narrative about her relationships. The song, she's literally saying, I have a blank space. Like, I've created this whole narrative for this boyfriend in my mind. I don't care who the guy is, but I have a blank space and I'll fill in his name. Like, whoever I date, I project onto what I want our relationship narrative to be like. And this song is satire. She doesn't actually do that, except she does actually do that. Like, she is saying, like, I make these narratives and then I switch up these Kens. I slot people into these different roles because they're just there as a reflection of me so that I can sing about them. And then this is shown in the music video because Taylor and her muse are, they're next to each other on horseback. They're mirrors of each other. They're doing the same things. Like, this man isn't real. It's someone that Taylor has projected on in her head. It's just about as obvious as you can get. And then we have Travis Kelce in the year of our Lord 2024 saying that his favorite Taylor Swift songs are Blank Space and Cowboy Like Me, 2 songs about bearding. And y'all still think it's a real relationship and not PR? Couldn't be me. The song's style is pretty overtly about Harry Styles, but it's about him from a bearding capacity. And he has a song with One Direction called Perfect that has a very similar beat and chord progression and is about his braids, I guess. Braid is like a female version of a beard. And these songs they're 2 parts of the same story. Taylor was braiding for Harry. Harry was bearding for Taylor. Style is about it. And in the Style music video, this is another one from 1989, where you get reflections in the mirror pieces where you can see that Taylor's muse is actually herself. The bonus tracks to 1989 couldn't be more overtly queer. First, we have New Romantics, and if you know your history, the New Romantics movement was a like glam rock underground subculture that originated in the UK in the 1970s that was influenced by David Bowie and glam rock, and it was all about androgyny and gender bending and queer culture. So like Taylor writes a song that's literally an exact reference to a queer subculture, and y'all think she's straight. In said song, she writes, "Because baby, I could build a castle out of all the bricks they threw at me," directly referencing the Stonewall riots, and y'all think she's straight? And people are always like, they did this a lot with the hairpin drop references, which I will talk about in a bit, but they were like, Taylor doesn't know that's a gay reference, guys. Like she doesn't know that's queer coded. She doesn't know about that much about queer history. And it's like, no, Taylor Swift actually knows the most about queer history of any person in the whole entire world. I learn things from her about queer history on like a daily basis. She is incredibly intelligent. She's neurodiverse. She's so smart. She's like closely related to Emily Dickinson, a lesbian poet, and she knows everything about everything that there is to know about being gay because she is gay. And then we have the other bonus track from 1989, Wonderland. And a fun fact about Diana Agron is that she was obsessed with Alice in Wonderland, and she even had an Alice in Wonderland tattoo on her ribs. So Taylor Swift writes a song called Wonderland that is definitely not about Diana Agron, including the words, "So we went on our way, two in love to think straight." When people say, I can't think straight, I can't see straight, they're saying, because I'm not straight. And she says, "Didn't you flash your green eyes at me? Didn't you calm your fears with a Cheshire Cat smile? Didn't it all seem new and exciting?" Sounds like a gay relationship with a woman who has green eyes to me. Anyway, after 1989 is released, Diana Agron removes her Alice in Wonderland tattoo, which probably doesn't mean anything at all. And then we get 1989 Taylor's version in October 2023, and we have some new songs that we can look at from a gay perspective. And there's a line in Now That We Don't Talk that is just unexplainable. It says, "The truth is, I can't pretend it's platonic. It just ended." Was anyone asking her to pretend that her relationship with Harry Styles was platonic? Does that even make any sense? Because they dated really publicly. They were popped together all the time, everywhere, and gay. And then we have the song Slut, which opens with the words Flamingo Pink, Sunrise Boulevard. Flamingo is a gay symbol. Sunrise Boulevard happens to be the location of the Stonewall Museum, which is located at 1300 Sunrise Boulevard. And if you know anything about Taylor Swift, you know that the number 13 is very important to her. And I can see her little numerology brain being like 1300 Sunrise Boulevard. The Stonewall Museum was made for me. I am the gay Jesus or whatever. But the song Slut in general is another song about bearding. It's actually saying, it's okay that they call me a slut. It's okay that, you know, the media narrative that I've built about me switching boyfriends every now and then. Switching boyfriends, honestly, not that often, but like women can't do anything. And them saying that I just write songs about my exes, blah, blah, blah. Like this whole narrative that the media has taken and ran with is fine because I created that narrative in order to protect my actual relationship and the people that I actually love who are women. This is a dual pronoun song. It is the verse, pre-chorus, and the chorus all say you. And then the second verse says, "Send the code, he's waiting there." So the beard arrived, you know, he's waiting, and I need to send him the code because he doesn't know it because he doesn't come over very often. And he'll come upstairs. Then she says, "Sticks and stones they throw froze midair." So the sticks and stones, obviously calling her a slut, hurling insults, saying that she's like a man eater, blah, blah, blah. They froze midair because they don't impact her because it's not actually like, it's not about her. It's not what she's doing. It's the narrative that she's created. And then in the chorus, she says, "Adorned with smoke on my clothes, love lorn and nobody knows." And Taylor uses smoke a lot throughout her songs, very similar to how she uses this like ghost imagery to say, like, I have smoke is something that you can't see. So I have the smoke. I have like the remnants of you that no one else can see, but I know is there all over my clothes. And I'm lovelorn and nobody knows because no one knows the actual story that's going on. I think Slut is like very, very, very openly about bearding. I think that's probably why it didn't make it on the original version of 1989, but did make it on the Taylor's version, which was during the Eras tour when she was like closer and closer, and she has gotten closer and closer to coming out, hopefully, one of these days. So following 1989 comes Reputation, which we've already talked about. However, there is a theory. It is heavily theorized that there was supposed to be another album, a lost album, in between 1989 and Reputation called Karma. And this theory is supported by Taylor being absolutely insane and super weird about the word karma anytime it happens. She did a countdown on TikTok called Midnight's Madness with Me when she was releasing the track list for Midnights. And when she announced the song Karma, she like laughed hysterically and like was super weird about it. And so everyone's like, okay, she's like, karma is obviously real. And if you think about like her existence in between the albums 1989 and Reputation, there is an unexplained, style moment in the middle there where she has her bleachello, where she bleaches her hair, and then she has a bob, and where that's not the aesthetic for Rep, and it's not the aesthetic for 1989. So what aesthetic is it? It's missing. That's Karma. And the color for Karma is orange. And in the Man music video, we have the Man wall, and it has Karma. It has the words Karma on there multiple times. And there's like a spot where it's clear that there was like a square, like a CD cover, but it's missing. So Karma is real. And so many, many people are theorizing that Karma is actually like the vault to Reputation, and that Karma is like a coming out album. But we don't know. We'll see. I know nothing more about Karma than any of you do. I just have a lot of theories about it. But I am really excited to finally one day get Karma. So we skip over Reputation and we skip over Lover because we've already done those, which brings us to Folklore, her first album post failed coming out, and her first album where she really starts to write about wanting to kill herself. So Taylor has gone into hiding. It's the pandemic. Her whole album aesthetic is gray, and we know that gray for Taylor means straight, not able to be out of the closet. The album opens with a song called The One, which includes the lyric, "Rose flowing with your chosen family." Chosen family is a queer term. It has been, used and shared with other groups, specifically like substance addicts and veterans are some examples that are used, and just like people in general, especially now that we have such strong political divides within families. But chosen family is a term that originated in queer spaces for the LGBTQ community, and it refers to a non-biologically related group of people established to provide ongoing social support. You can read like directly on the Wikipedia page, families of choice are especially significant within the LGBTQ community where individuals may face estrangement from their biological families. We move on to Cardigan, where she includes a smoke reference once again. She says the smell of smoke would hang around this long. So the lover that she's talking about in Cardigan, where they're on the High Line in New York City, where she and Carly both lived, is leaving smoke, and it's stuck around this long. It's stuck around for so many years, and she can't get rid of it. She can't forget about the memory of her time with this muse. Betty, one might say. She sings the song Seven, which is yet another song about running away with your female best friend as a child. And we know that that friend is a child because your braids make a pattern. And she says, "I've been meaning to tell you, I think your house might be haunted. Your dad is always mad, and that must be why. I wish you could come live with me and we could be pirates. Then you won't have to cry or hide in the closet." Like, I'm shaking, I'm gnawing at the bars of my enclosure, screaming. People don't sing about being stuck in the closet unless they're gay. And then no one listens to me. And it's fine. But yeah, loud. In the song, she says, "I hit my peak at 7. And Lover is her 7th album. So I hit my peak at 7 feet in the swing above the creek. I was too scared to jump in. She was too scared to actually do the coming out that she planned. But I was high in the sky with Pennsylvania under me. Are there still beautiful things? Can things still be beautiful? even though I wasn't brave enough to jump and come out and embrace who I really am and share it with the world. Is this making anyone else really sad? I am quite sad. The song Betty, where she writes from a man's point of view, gay. The song Peace. I've never had the courage of my convictions as long as danger's near, and it's just around the corner, darling, because it lives in me. The danger is within her, because the danger is her own identity of being a gay person. Would it be enough if I could never give you peace? Would it be enough if I can never promise you that our relationship and that my life are going to be stable and that I'm going to be able to give you the full relationship that you want and that you deserve and that we want and that we deserve, because I have to pretend to be someone that I'm not? And then she includes another Chosen Family reference in this song because she's loud, and she says, family that I chose now that I see your brother as my brother. Is it enough? So Folklore, beautiful album, surprise released in July 2020. And then there's the Grammy gate of it all. So cited on Folklore on the songs Exile and Betty is a writer, William Bowery. Who's William Bowery? No one knows. So Taylor then releases the Folklore Long Pond studio sessions in November of 2020, and she comes out and says that William Bowery is actually Joe Alwyn, her boyfriend. And I just am wondering, why would you need to like make a whole false identity for your boyfriend to write on this album if you're just going to let people know about it 4 months later? I can't come up with an answer to that. If anyone has one, please let me know. But then we have the Grammys. The 2021 Grammys, March 2021, Taylor's album Folklore wins Album of the Year. 1 month after the Grammys, William Bowery is added as a contributor to all of the songs on Folklore. And so William Bowery, aka Joe Alwyn, is now a Grammy winner. He has also received a Grammy for Folklore, winning Album of the Year. There's two explanations for this. One is that she completely forgot to credit someone who worked on all of these songs until almost a year after the album came out. Sounds like bad business practice. And the second album is that she added credits for someone who didn't work on the songs after it won a Grammy to win them a Grammy, which would make sense in a situation like writing into a bearding contract that you had to make sure that your long-term 6-year beard won a Grammy in order to, keep him from participating in his own relationships publicly in that time. I don't know, but all I do know is that in Long Pond studio sessions between Jack Antonoff and Taylor, Jack is so funny. He will be the thing that outs Taylor. I really do firmly believe this. He's basically already done it. But anyway, moving on to Evermore. Evermore, another surprise released album that came out in December 2020. And I really do think that this whole album is about her failed coming out attempt in spring of 2019 and the fallout of it. It opens with the song Willow, which I really do believe is about her publicist Tree Payne and the narratives that she crafts to protect Taylor and her reputation. And if you weren't aware, a willow is a type of tree. She says, "The more that you say, the less I know. Wherever you stray, I follow. I'm begging for you to take my hand, wreck my plans. That's my man." And she repeats over and over throughout the song, "That's my man. Yeah, that's my man. That's my man. Every bait and switch was a work of art. That's my man. That's my man." And to me, this is just saying, like, Tree is the person who crafts all these narratives. And she's saying, wherever you lead, I'll follow. Like, I will go along with whatever you're saying. The more that you say, the less I know. Like, the further you craft this narrative and the further you take it, like, the less I have actually any idea what's going on, but I'm going to go along with it. Wreck my plans. That's my man. That's my man. That's my man, for sure. Whoever you say is my man is my man. This doesn't seem like a romantic song, much less the music video, which represents Taylor like in a glass closet. I don't know. If I was a romantic muse and this was a song you wrote about me, I would probably be breaking up with you. That's all I've got to say. And then the regular version of the album closes with the song Evermore. So Evermore, just, I actually don't even know how people explain this song if not about her failed coming out attempt. It says, "Gray November, I've been down since July." June 30th was the failed coming out. So July 1st starts her being, and, her master's being stolen. So July 1st starts her being literally the most depressed person in the whole entire world. "I replay my footsteps on each stepping stone, trying to find the one where I went wrong, writing letters addressed to the fire." She's playing back the scene. I replay my footsteps on each stepping stone, trying to find the one where I went wrong. Like, what happened? What did I do wrong? Where did I mess up to end up having this happen to me, to end up having things fail so miserably? And it's so relatable. Like, if you've had something planned for a long time and, it fails, it doesn't happen, but you can't tell anyone about it because, like, she can't tell anyone that she's gay. So she's just in her own head replaying this moment over and over and over and trying to be like, but where did it go wrong? And then she says, "I couldn't be sure, but I had a feeling so peculiar that this pain would be forevermore." In the next verse, she says, "I rewind the tape, but all it does is pause on the very moment all was lost." Same thing. We have Bon Iver, Justin Vernon come in, and she says, "Can't not think of all the cost and the things that will be lost. Oh, can we just get a pause to be certain we'll be tall again? Whether weather be the frost or the violence of dog days, I'm on waves out being tossed. Is there a line that I could just go cross?" And then she says, "And when I was shipwrecked, I thought of you." You being the version of her that did come out. The parallel alternate reality version of her who was able to come out and who is living as an openly queer woman. "When I was shipwrecked, I thought of you. In the cracks of light, I dream." I'm like going to cry. This is so emotional. I love this song so much. "In the cracks of light, I dreamed of you, and it was real enough to get me through. I'm on waves out being tossed, but I swear you were there." But then she ends the song with, "And I was catching my breath, floors of the cabin creaking under my step, and I couldn't be sure, but I had a feeling so peculiar that this pain wouldn't be forevermore." So by the end of the album, by the end of the song, she's realized that she is going to be able to move on from this. Like, she will be happy again. She will, find herself and be able to love and be herself someday. And she won't hurt this bad forever. We can talk about other songs on Evermore before I start crying on camera. The song Gold Rush is gay. I actually don't know how anyone could possibly ascribe the song Gold Rush to a man. What must it be like to grow up so beautiful, your hair falling into place like dominoes? That's just perhaps about Karlie Kloss, and the fact that the whole beat that plays through the whole song sounds like a model on the catwalk. Probably a coincidence. Track 7, Happiness. "Honey, when I'm above the trees, I see it for what it is. There'll be happiness after you, but there was happiness because of you. Both of these things can be true. There is happiness." This song brought me a lot of peace when I went through my breakup with a man earlier this summer, but now that I'm a Gaylor, I can see that it's about the coming out attempt. She's saying, but now we're right down in it. All the shit we've given is just years we're dividing up. It's her masters, it's her, she's dividing things up between the versions of herself. Like, what does Taylor Swift, the brand, the straight woman, get to keep? And what do I, Taylor Swift, the real person, the queer person, get to keep? But when she takes a step back and when she has perspective and when it's been a year and a half, she can see, like, there'll be happiness after you. There's happiness after the failed coming out. But there was happiness because I thought I was going to come out, because I thought I was going to get to live my life as a queer person. But it's also a great song, for the end of a long-term relationship. The beautiful thing about Taylor's music is, even though a lot of these are just like pretty explicitly gay, like, people find their own narratives in these songs. That's what the song The Manuscript in the Tortured Poets Department is about. The song Dorothea, speaking of songs that are overtly gay, can't be explained from no explanation. People are like, it's about Selena Gomez, her close friend. And sure, definitely. The song Ivy, however, like, this can't be straight. It's gay. I did like a line by line lyric analysis to the song on my TikTok back when I still had TikTok, but I will do it again here because I love the song Ivy. In the pre-chorus in Ivy, Taylor says, "The old widow goes to the stone every day." So the stone, the headstone, the graveyard. The old widow, a woman who has lost her real husband, he has died, goes to her husband's grave every day so she can mourn. It's tangible. He has really died. He is really there. She is really there. But I don't. I just sit here and wait, grieving for the living. So Taylor is grieving over a lover that she can't be with, but that lover isn't dead. They're still alive. "Oh, goddamn, my pain fits in the palm of your freezing hand." So they're holding hands. "Taking mine, but it's been promised to another. Oh, I can't stop you putting roots in your dreamland. My house of stone, your ivy grows, and now I'm covered in you." I honestly think that this song is from Carly's perspective, talking about Taylor, specifically because of the version of Ivy here, the way that Ivy is used in the song, following from "Don't blame me, I once was poison ivy, but now I'm your daisy." And Carly Kloss is the person who is married to a man. And ivy is very, like, invasive. Like, it can grow anywhere. Ivy can grow out of cracks in stone. And so she's saying, like, your ivy grows and now I'm covered in you because I can't stop you from putting your roots here. Ivy can put its roots anywhere. And all I can think about is you. All I can dream about is you. "He's in the room. Your opal eyes are all I wish to see. He wants what's only yours." He, Carly's husband, Josh Kushner, is in the room. Your opal eyes are all I wish to see. When you shine light on an opal, it looks like a rainbow. Fun fact. He wants what's only yours. He wants my love, but I will only give my love to you. And then we have "Clover blooms in the fields. Spring breaks loose, but so does fear. What would he do if he found us out? Crescent moon, coast is clear. Spring breaks loose, but so does fear. He's going to burn this house to the ground." Spring, clover, crescent moon, these are all signs of like new beginnings of spring. The crescent is the first moon phase. It's all like new beginnings are happening. And honestly, since it's March and since we had the spring equinox 9 days ago, as of today, I'm waiting. I'm like, okay, what's it today? It's a new moon, which means that the crescent moon is going to be this week. So hurry up. First crescent moon of the spring. Let's go. I need something gay. I need Reputation Taylor's version. I need something. That's just my hope. That's just my prayer. That's just my dream. "I'd live and die for moments that we stole on begged and borrowed time. So tell me to run or dare to sit and watch what we'll become and drink my husband's wine." My husband's wine can mean something else if you really think about it from a gay perspective. So yeah, it's a fire. It's a goddamn blaze in the dark. And you started it. You started it. Taylor, you started it. So yeah, it's a war. It's the goddamn fight of my life. And you started it. So if someone would love to explain this song to me in a hetero way, I'm open to hearing it, but gay. And then the song Cowboy Like Me is about bearding. And it's one of Travis's favorite songs. So that's so silly. They're so silly. They're like so like right in your face. Like this is a PR relationship and everyone is like, the alchemy is about Travis. So high school is about Travis. The prophecy is about Travis. They're going to have babies. They're going to get engaged. In what universe? That's a gay man and that's a gay woman and they're being gay together. And then we have the bonus tracks. And specifically we have Right Where You Left Me, which is, that song is gay. First of all, queer history, a hairpin drop is a reference to saying like how you know someone is gay. Like they will drop a hairpin. They will drop a hint that they're gay. And so when Taylor in Right Where You Left Me says, "I swear you could hear a hairpin drop," what's she saying but that she's gay? Because the saying is you could hear a pin drop. She added in the hair for fun. Because gay. Friends break up, friends get married, trends change, rumors fly through new skies, but I'm right where you left me. Help, I'm still at the restaurant, still sitting in the corner I haunt. The restaurant is the closet, and she's still sitting in the closet because she can't come out, because if she comes out, Matches burn after the other, pages turn and stick to each other. If she comes out, other people get outed too. Carly, Diana, all of the other women that have been linked to her, and then Josh, Carly's husband, gets outed, and he is a Kushner and he's related to the Trump admin, and things get really messy from there. And you can specifically know that this is about Carly and Josh because she says, I could feel the mascara run. You told me that you met someone. Glass shattered on the white cloth. Everybody moved on. Josh Kushner is Jewish. Carly and Josh had a Jewish wedding. The glass shattering on the white cloth is a part of that wedding celebration. Friends break up, friends get married. They say, what a sad sight. I stayed there. Dust collected on my pinned up hair. Her hair is still pinned up because she can't drop the hairpins. She can't tell people that she's gay because she's stuck. She's stuck in the closet because Carly's moving on and Carly's having this life and Carly's having the children that she wanted. And if Taylor says anything, it's all going to blow up and things are going to come crashing down. But if you ever think you got it wrong, I'm right where you left me. You left me no choice but to stay here forever. And this brings me to Midnights. Midnights, when it came out, people were like, this is a love album and it's about Joe Alwyn. And it's like, even me as not a Gaylor back then, I was like, I don't really think that these songs are love songs, but whatever. So we open with Lavender Haze. And if you're unaware, a lavender marriage, like lavender is a queer color, and a lavender marriage is a marriage with one or two queer people. And it's like a marriage for safety, a marriage for convenience. Carly and Josh is a lavender marriage. It's a marriage so that they could have children. And Josh, obviously coming from a very conservative family who's wrapped up in the current political administration, has cover of having a wife. And Carly has cover of having a husband. But this is not a love song. The opening lines of the song are staring at the ceiling with you. Oh, you don't ever say too much. You don't really read into my melancholia. It's just like, I'm lying down in a lavender haze next to my gay partner, and he is not really talking to me, and we don't really say anything because we don't really like each other and we don't have much in common. And he doesn't really ask why I'm sad, and he doesn't read into it. Does that sound like the kind of partnership that you want? And then she goes on to say, no deal, that 1950s shit they want from me. She doesn't want to get married to a man. She doesn't want that 1950s shit because she does want to get married, but to a woman. And then we have the song Maroon, which can't be about a man because the lips I used to call home so scarlet they were maroon. In actually what world are a man's lips scarlet? That's not a normal lip color. That's the color of lipstick, but whatever. And also, when the morning came, we were cleaning incense off your vinyl shelf because we lost track of time again. What? I'm sorry, are we dating the same men? Because I have been to a lot of men's homes, straight men's homes in my lifetime, and none of them had vinyl shelves and incense. That's a lesbian thing, buddy. That's a lesbian thing, their partner. And then she says, laughing with my feet in your lap like you were my closest friend. And it's like, okay, again with the friend stuff. We get it. I don't want you like a best friend. Blah, 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 blah. Please tell me, please show me anyone. I will give $5. I'm not really rich. To anyone who can point me to a straight artist who sings about loving someone like a friend or loving their best friend as much as Taylor Swift does, because I don't think they exist. Interestingly, this is sort of a fun fact. It might be a little bit of a stretch, but I saw a Tumblr post about it and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it ever since. But the colors of the chorus are actually the colors of the lesbian flag, in order. The burgundy on my t-shirt where you splashed your wine into me and how the blood rushed into my cheek, so scarlet it was. The mark you saw on my collar bone, the rust that grew between telephones, the lips I used to call home, so scarlet it was maroon. Lesbian flag. So fun. I don't know if it's on purpose, but I think it is. Every bait and switch was a work of art. God, I just looked at the track list for Midnights and I'm like, all of these songs are gay. Do I offer an explanation for all of the songs? And I'm sure this episode is so long already, so I don't think that I can. I will just hit on the highlights. It's like Snow on the Beach, weird but fucking beautiful, gay. You're on Your Own, Kid is another one where we have best friend references. I wait patiently, he's gonna notice me. It's okay, we're the best of friends anyway. Taylor Allison, neurodivergent, I was bullied in school and no one liked me, Swift, was not the best of friends with a guy. That's all I'll say. In Midnight Rain, Taylor says, my town was a wasteland, full of cages, full of fences, pageant queens, and big pretenders, but for some, it was paradise. So she's saying my hometown was full of cages. You know, it caged people. It made them stay trapped in the identity that society wanted for them. And for some people, that was paradise, but it wasn't for me. It came like a postcard, picture perfect, shiny family, holiday, peppermint candy, but for him, it was every day. So that's like the straight, hetero, patriarchal ideal of a happy family. But then she says, so I peered through a window, a deep portal, time travel, all the love we unravel, and the life I gave away. She gave away that life. She went through a portal. She stumbled down the rabbit hole because she needed to go to a world where it was okay to be gay. The song question is about Kissgate, which for the uninitiated is when Carly and Taylor attended a 1975 concert together and were videotaped kissing on their like private terrace box thing, which is widely theorized to be why Taylor even dated Maddie Healy at all, so that when you search Taylor Swift the 1975, you get articles about Taylor Swift and Maddie Healy's relationship and not videos of Taylor and Carly making out at a 1975 concert. This song, especially the chorus, is Taylor talking to Josh Kushner, Carly Kloss's husband, saying, can I ask you a question? Did you ever have someone kiss you in a crowded room and every single one of your friends was making fun of you, but 15 seconds later they were clapping too? Then what did you do? Did you leave her house in the middle of the night? Oh. Did you wish you put up more of a fight? Oh. When she said it was too much, do you wish you could still touch her? It's just a question. Which is pretty self-explanatory, honestly. The song Sweet Nothing I want to touch on a little bit because I think it's so interesting, and it's not about Taylor and Joe's relationship. It's not about Taylor's relationship with any one person in particular. It's really about her relationship with the fans. She's saying all that you, the general public, the fans, ever wanted from me was sweet nothing. Like, you want my songs to be simple and make the sense that you want them to make, and you don't want them to be like this deep introspective like exploration of queer culture, which they are. You want them to be sweet nothing. They said the end is coming. Everyone's up to something. Like, the world is such a busy place. I find myself running home to your sweet nothings. Outside there pushing, shoving, you're in the kitchen humming. All that you ever wanted from me was sweet nothing. On the way home, I wrote a poem. You said, what a mind. And that's it. This happens all the time. In Mastermind, she says, you know, all the wisest women had to do it this way because we were born to be the pawn in every lover's game. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Strategy sets the scene for the tale. I'm the wind in our free-flowing sails and the liquor in our cocktails. This came out to be taken like all the wisest women had to do it this way, like finding someone that they were interested in and then like creating an elaborate plan to get them in their pockets. And there was even like a TikTok trend of girls talking about how they like, you know, found out this guy and then they like researched all of his favorite bands and they showed up at the shows and like made him think that he was the one who wanted them, but actually they wanted him, which was definitely my interpretation of it too for a long time. But when you think about it, all the wisest women had to do it this way. A lot of women, especially historically before it was acceptable and even legal to be queer, had beards. Elizabeth Taylor, Rebecca Harkness, who The Last Great American Dynasty is about, Emily Dickinson, who's related to Taylor Swift, they all pretended to be in relationships with men while actually having, you know, wives and girlfriends and roommates and best friends. Whitney Houston, all the wisest women had to do it this way. And I'm only going to talk about two more, although I have so much more that I could say. If you have any requests for Gaylor song analysis, please send them to me or leave them in a comment, because I love to do this, but I'm just trying to, obviously I'm not doing it very good at keeping it high level. I'm laughing now, but I'm about to do Bigger Than the Whole Sky, which is like the saddest song in the whole entire world. But this is something else that bothers me when people act like it's so incredibly like invasive and terrible to say that Taylor Swift might be a lesbian. But like with a song like Bigger Than the Whole Sky, people were speculating it's about a miscarriage. It's about Taylor's miscarriage. It's about Abigail's miscarriage. It's about Phoebe Bridgers' abortion of her and Paul Mescal's baby. And it's like, is that not more like invasive than being like, I think she's queer. And the answer is only if you think being queer is a bad thing, which it's not. It's actually a good thing. Like, I actually don't really like straight people that much, but moving on. No words appear before me in the aftermath. Salt streams out my eyes and into my ears. Every single thing I touch becomes sick with sadness because it's all over now. It's all out to sea. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. You were bigger than the whole sky. You were more than just a short time. I've got a lot to pine about. I've got a lot to live without. I'm never going to meet what could have been, would have been, what should have been you. You being the version of herself who was able to come out on June 30th, 2019. In the aftermath, she's crying. We've heard this before. This is what the song Evermore is about. And she is never going to meet... She's never going to meet the person that she could have been if she was able to come out that day. And I think that this song is really heartbreaking and devastating. So listen to it with this lens and see how much you cry. And then I just have to talk a little bit about Hits Different because of the Carly Kloss of it all. She says, I slur your name till someone puts me in a car. I wonder whose name you would slur that someone thinks you're saying car. Oh, I don't know. Carly. Obviously Joe. Obviously Joseph. Joseph. Oh, what's that? You want me to call you an Uber? Yeah, no. Carly. Carly, and it's not even close. And then in the second verse, she says, I used to switch out these Kens. I'd just ghost, rip the Band-Aid off, and skip town like an asshole outlaw. This is just one of many songs where she talks about like switching out guys and guys just being something for her to play with, but like it hits different because it's you. What's different about them? Pray tell. I beg. And then in the bridge, she actively calls her muse an argumentative, antithetical dream girl, which seems obvious. But once again, she starts getting way louder in like Midnights and Tortured Poets because she's like, oh, actually, no one even possibly thinks that I could be gay. I can literally say whatever I want and they'll never question it, which I love because then we get songs like this. Which brings me to the Eras Tour. So after Midnights is released, Taylor Swift announces the Eras Tour. The Eras Tour movie, if you have Disney Plus or you can watch the intro on YouTube, it opens and it's rainbows. And then the rainbows fade and it's rainbows. And then the rainbows fade again. And you think that there can't be more rainbows, but it's rainbows. And then they fade out again. Like the whole thing is just like I'm sorry, if she's not gay, what is she doing? Why are there... What do you guys think that the rainbows stand for if not gay? They don't really mean anything else. Whatever. The concert opens with the Lover set. She plays You Need to Calm Down. More rainbows. All of the wristbands in the house going crazy, lighting up rainbow colors. Very fun. And then Taylor, just throughout the shows, is constantly fingering the air. And muscle memory doesn't lie. Here's another one of those things. Taylor doesn't know queer history. Then what the fuck do you call this? The Ladder, a lesbian newspaper, zine, whatever, that was published from 1956 to 1972. This is the exact same imagery as Lavender Haze as performed on the Eras Tour. There's just actually no other explanation for it. Mastermind, a song that's about Carly. Taylor walks down a checkerboard stage hand in hand with one of her dancers, literally exactly like she did with Carly on the exact same checkerboard stage at the Victoria's Secret fashion show. And then Karma is at the end of the show, and then the orange door comes down in the background. Orange stands for Karma, and then we take a bow. So the next thing that's going to happen is someone's going to go through the orange Karma door one of these days. And then about a year into the Eras Tour, she releases the Tortured Poets Department, which opens with the song Fortnight, which starts with the words, I was supposed to be sent away, but they forgot to come and get me. I was a functioning alcoholic till nobody noticed my new aesthetic. I was a functioning alcoholic, and then I became a non-functioning alcoholic is the words that aren't there. And the new aesthetic is either the rainbows of the Lover era or after her failed coming out, when she started wearing all black and being like really sad and doing really, really sad performances of all of her songs. That could be the new aesthetic. But anyway, no one noticed. So now she's depressed and dreaming about killing herself. It really kills me that everyone, not everyone, but like the going accepted narrative for the songs on the Tortured Poets Department is that they're about Maddie Healy. Because one, ew, I have also dated a greasy, dark-haired man named Matt, and that was not a pleasant experience. And I don't appreciate when people attribute beautiful queer art to greasy, dark-haired men named Matt. But also, do you guys like Taylor? Like, do you guys think that she's a good person? Because writing a whole song called But Daddy, I Love Him, and you're thinking that it's talking to Taylor Swift's fans who have made her the most like famous pop star in the whole entire world, calling them Sarah's and Hannah's in their Sunday best, saying that her fans are screeching at her to stop dating this, problematic racist man, but she loves him and so she's going to do it anyway. Like, if you think that that's actually what Taylor is writing about, why do you like her? Because she is openly saying that she hates you in that interpretation of the song. But no, if you actually read the lyrics to But Daddy, I Love Him, this is a song about religious trauma. This is a song about religious guilt. I forget how the West was won. I forget about colonialism. I forget if this was ever fun. I just learned these people only raise you to cage you. Sarah's and Hannah's in their Sunday best. That's literally talking about people wearing church attire. Sarah and Hannah are both names from the Bible. Clutching their pearls, sighing, what a mess. I just learned these people try and save you because they hate you. Who do the church people try to save? They try to save queer people. Like, that's what that means. You can be saved. They do like conversion therapy. It is so offensive to be like, oh yeah, me dating a racist white guy that people don't like is just like the Christians trying to save gay people. That's absurd. It's like an absolutely absurd thing to say. Fortunately, this is about being gay. Taylor is not like an asshole. But I just actually can't even wrap my mind around these people who are like, this is about Maddie Healy and no one will tell me otherwise. It's like, okay, sure, definitely. I know he's crazy, but he's the one I want. And people are like, it says him in the title, so it has to be about a man. Critical thinking has been banned in the United States. Soon enough, the elders had convened down at the city hall. Stay away from her. The saboteurs protested too much. Lord knows the words we never heard. Just screeching tires and true love. Like, I have no more to say than what I've already said. I'll tell you something right now. I'd rather burn my whole life down than listen to one more second of all this bitching and moaning. And then she says, if all you want is gray for me. That's like, gray. What are you talking about? Like, gray is, all you want is for me to be straight. Like, what? Men who aren't Maddie Healy are not gray. Like, Maddie Healy is not screaming color. It's just ridiculous. Maddie Healy himself, by the way, has said that him and Taylor never dated. But no one will pay attention to that because it doesn't fit the narrative. Guilty as Sin. First of all, if you look up Guilty as Sin, you will find many, many sapphic covers of this song by queer women who replace all of the pronouns with her. So, just saying. But this is actually another two pronoun song. She uses him and she uses you. And she talks about wanting to kill herself. She talks about throwing her life to the wolves or the ocean rocks. She talks about religious trauma. What if he's written mine on my upper thigh only in my mind? What if only in my mind I've thought about, I've dreamed about, I've fantasized about, me and him/her being together? One slip, I'm falling back into the hedge maze, which is clearly a reference to a bush, which is a woman thing. Oh, what a way to die. I keep recalling things we never did. Messy top lip kiss, how I long for our tryst without ever touching her skin. How can I be guilty as sin? Why would you be guilty as sin for touching a man's thigh? No, it's continuing her theme of religious trauma, which is all about being queer. This is one thread that weaves through her art. It doesn't fray off into different directions. It started about being queer and it's still about being queer. What if I roll the stone away? Religious image, Easter. They're going to crucify me anyway. What if the way you hold me is actually what's holy? If long-suffering propriety is what they want from me, they don't know how you've haunted me so stunningly. I choose you and me religiously. Gay. I could actually write a full dissertation about every single song on this album, but I'm trying not to do that. But what I want to talk about is that The Alchemy is not about Travis Kelce, and if you think it is, you are deranged. This is clearly, like explicitly, I haven't come around in so long, but I'm coming back so strong. Like, it's clearly about going back to someone that you used to be in a relationship with. There's no theory even that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce dated in the past. Like, this is so clearly not about him, but people are like, football words, Travis Kelce. And it's like, do you even know her? Like, has Taylor Swift ever done something so blatantly obvious and like used metaphors as not metaphors? She's tricky. She tricks people, but like she doesn't just like write football song about football guy, you know? Ridiculous. Hey you, what if I told you we're cool? That child's play back in school is forgiven under my rule. I haven't come around in so long, but I'm making a comeback to where I belong. Also, if this is about Travis and they're joking about Maddie Healy, who openly had a substance abuse issue related to heroin, and she says he jokes that it's heroin, but this time with an E. Like, once again, do you think that she's an asshole? Because that is what an asshole would do. Like, that's crazy, invoking your ex-boyfriend's heroin addiction in your song about your new boyfriend. Crazy work. In I'm Gonna Get You Back, phenomenal song, by the way. We have closet references. Whether I'm gonna flip you off or pull you into the closet, haven't decided yet, but I'm gonna get you back. One might think that, you know, all these songs about getting someone back, going back to where you belong, are all about the same person who she dated in the past, who she's still in love with and wants to be with. I wonder who that could be. And I Hate It Here, one of my absolute favorite songs of all time. Quick, tell me something awful, like you are a poet trapped inside the body of a finance guy. This is Taylor. This is Taylor talking about Taylor. She's the poet. She's trapped inside the body of the finance guy. She's real Taylor trapped inside the body of Taylor Swift the brand, TM. Tell me all your secrets. All you'll ever be, all you, Taylor Swift the brand, will ever be is my eternal consolation prize, because you see I was a debutante in another life. A debutante ball is also known as a coming out. You see I was able to come out in another life, but now I seem to be scared to go outside. Thank You, Amy is probably about Taylor Swift's old stylist, Sandy Borchetta, Scott Borchetta's wife, who would put her, there's a video on YouTube, it's the making of the Love Story music video, and Taylor talks about how Sandy, like, first of all, she's a person who really caused her to have an eating disorder that she then struggled with her whole life, relatable, and that Sandy, like, put her into these, like, really tiny, tight corsets that she could barely breathe in for the music video, and then you see Sandy, like, holding up these corsets, and she's like, they're so small, Taylor's so little, it's like for a doll. And it's very triggering if you've struggled with eating disorders in the past, but Taylor makes this seem like it's about Kim Kardashian by capitalizing the letters Kim in the title. She makes it seem like it's about Kanye West by capitalizing the letters Ye in the title in other places. This seems like it could be about Karlie Kloss, but I think that it's an amalgamation of all of these things, but I think that the number one target is Sandy Borchetta. And fuck her, honestly. Very much reminds me of my high school dance team coach, who also caused my eating disorder and left me with a host of problems. I Look in People's Windows is super queer coded. People's Windows is like people's Instagram posts, people's social media. I look in people's windows and they're at their table having wine with their friends. They're having Christmas parties, but she's outside. This harkens back to her album debut, the song The Outside. She's on the outside looking in. She isn't even allowed there because she's not out. She's not openly out of the closet. She can't hang out with all of her gay friends and do openly queer things. She just has to look in their windows and wish that she was there. What if your eyes looked up and met mine one more time? And you, theoretically, is her in a world where she was able to come out on June 30th, 2019. Then there's The Prophecy, which very similar thing. Like, was this all written? Is this the prophecy? Is there any way I can change it? Is there any way that I can, change the prophecy to be something where I'm allowed to live as the person that I truly am? And then Peter, which people are so, once again, so like, this is about Maddie Healy. And it's like, the song opens, "Forgive me, Peter, my lost fearless leader in closets like cedar." So we have Bang Bang Boom. We have My Lost Fearless Leader, which is a reference to, one, Taylor Swift's album, Fearless, and two, in The Man, she says, I'd be a fearless leader. I'd be the alpha type. She's the fearless leader. Like, this is obviously a song about Taylor Swift herself. Forgive Me, Peter, my lost fearless leader in closets like cedar. And then we get a closet reference. And it's just like, and you think this is about Matthew Healy because he had like a Lost Boys thing? But once again, that's Taylor's point. She puts in red herrings. She wants people to think these things. Honestly, that's all I can say. This is already too long, and I could say 100 bajillion more things about every single one of her songs and the queer explanations of it. So if you have any requests of songs that you would like explained from a queer POV, I would love to do it. But yeah, Taylor Swift is gay. I don't know what else to say to anyone who thinks otherwise. It is okay to have differences of opinion. Obviously, Taylor Swift has never openly said, I'm gay, but Taylor Swift has also never openly said I'm straight. And if she were a straight woman, I don't think that that should be like a hard thing or a problem. And the alternative is that Taylor Swift has been queer baiting her whole entire life and made her straight self the sheriff of a gay town. And I think that that would make her a bad person. So as a huge fan of Taylor Swift and her work, I hope that she's gay, because if she's not, then I have a lot of reconciling to do with how I feel about her music and how she has appropriated the queer community over the past decade, 2 decades. It's almost been 20 years since debut was released. This was a really long episode, and I hope you enjoyed it. I love all of my Gaylor family, and I'm so glad you're here. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and who's clowning with me that we're going to get some sort of Taylor announcement on the crescent moon this week? Yay! Let's all manifest together, and maybe one day, something will happen. I think that something's going to happen. The whole point of doing this podcast episode is because I have been looking at Taylor's chart a lot for certain dates, and I do think that I know when things are going to happen based on that. And I didn't want to talk about it without explaining why I think Taylor is queer. But I hope that you are having a wonderful week, a wonderful weekend. I hope that nothing too crazy happened to you during the eclipse. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.